Hey, what's up, man? Daniel Dizon here, part of Dizon Tutoring videos. What we're trying to do here is just try and get as much HSC free resources out there to help clarify all the misconceptions out there with HSC English. I'm a private tutor, and here's some of the stuff which I teach my students. I thought I'd put some of the stuff out there for free. Okay, so the question of this video is, why is context so important, and why should we always include it in all our responses, whether it's a Module A essay, a Belonging essay, or even like Year 11 stuff, basically. Context is very, very important. Okay, but before we get into the actual answer to that question, it begs to ask, what exactly is context? A majority of the students in the state don't actually know what context means. About 80% of my students, when I first had them, I asked them the question, what is context? And I'm always getting blank faces. But basically, this is what context means. It's the circumstances around a text which have influenced the themes. Okay, so if it's influencing the themes, then therefore it influences the meaning of the text. So if a text is about love, that was, influenced by the circumstances around it. So for example, like a love song, take any love song, like John Mayer's love song, Your Body is a Wonderland. That's probably influenced by the circumstances which happened around him, because he's such a ladies' man, and he's able to create that song about love and about the beauty of the female body, and then he's able to create a meaning in that text and, get chicks, basically. So these circumstances can be personal. So, for example, personal experiences. They can be social. If you're in like social issues at the time, historical, political, or cultural, and they all affect the meaning in text. So, for example, Martin Luther King's speech, I Have a Dream speech about racism and segregation of black people was historically influenced by the history of black slavery, politically influenced by the deplorable policies about towards black people, and also the culture, and his personal context, the fact that he himself was a African American being oppressed by the American white society. Context is really, really important. If we actually in the syllabus of the Belonging Syllabus, it actually makes mention to context, but it doesn't actually define it. It says here, these perceptions are shaped within personal, cultural, and historical context. Context is the key word there, and we now know what that means. That's really important. To further explain to you why it's so important, I want to show the relationship as to how context is related to theme. Okay, so I call this the iterative cycle of textual creation and reception. Basically, the cycle just represents, iterative means it goes like forever, repeats like a life cycle, and creation and reception is how something is made and how something is received. So everything starts off with a context, okay? So let's take, for example, Adele's Someone Like You song. The context of that was apparently she had sex with some married dude, and then that married dude kind of ran away to live life with another woman. Okay, so that's the context there. We'll keep that in the back of our heads. Now that context now influences the composer. Composer in this case is going to be Adele, and that idea which she has now is the idea of unrequited love, and which then translates into the theme of unrequited love, the undying love, and all that kind of stuff. And that goes into the text, which the text in this case is a song, and that eventually goes out to us. And because of the context originally, that's why we were able to read that text and have that text have those themes. And that's with everything, whatever text you're studying in Belonging, it all comes down to pretty much the context, whether it's Romulus, my father, dealing with Romanian, the xenophobic attitudes towards Romanians in Australian society, whether it's Felix Chernevsky and with the Polish immigrants and all their plight during that time, where immigrants weren't seen as positively as they are now. So it all comes back to context, and it all starts with context. The context influences the composer. The composer gets an idea, he wants a theme, creates a text, it goes to us, and lucky us, we get to study it in HSC English. So the bottom line here is always, always, always include context, because context is the way you can explain something. You can't explain a theme without going back to the context. Just in the same way, you can't explain the meaning of something unless you can take into consideration the context. And it's particularly important with poetry and all that kind of stuff. But I'll say that for another video. Anyway, guys, it's the end of this one. So rate, comment, subscribe. You know, all the usual stuff. Share this on Facebook forums and even show your teacher and classmates. I'm always keen for some feedback on these videos. And any requests or questions, send all inquiries to daniel.deesontutoring@gmail.com. Hopefully I can help you out, or I can make like a video to help everyone else out, you know, with the common questions and stuff like that. Check out Kick HSC on that website there for free resources on everything to do with HSC and HSC English in particular. And yeah, send me an email, guys, if you have any questions or have any video requests. Thank you so much.